Big Dude here, and in our last episode, Bill Kerman nearly avoided disaster while attempting to land on the moon, which resulted in a rather catastrophic collision and a panicked effort to get him back into orbit. After careful consideration, the decision was made to have Bill fly back to Kerman. This was a difficult decision. Required a lot of hand-holding and talking. Granted, we couldn't actually hold his hand. We had to talk to him very carefully via radio, reassure him and such, and tell him what buttons to push and what levers to pull. But as time went by, we convinced Bill he could do it. He could fly himself back to the moon. Or I apologize, back to Kerman. And he could rescue himself. He could be his own hero. So Bill, you see Bill here adjusting maneuvers and such. He's going for the wrong side. He's probably had too much to drink. He's stowed away some sort of Kerman ale aboard the spacecraft to deal with his fear, to help him deal with his fear, and it's not helping the process. But nonetheless, after a few adjustments, he gets the maneuver nodes right. He realizes, and a big part of the effort was he didn't want to fly an entire orbit to 15 million meters away. And I understand that. But sometimes a Kerbal's got to do what a Kerbal's got to do. So, after confirming his trajectories, Bill settles in for the long flight, confirms one more time what angles he'll be coming in, how far out he has to go. We go ahead and we hit time warp a little bit. This is the game time warp. Now, this whole video has been set is actually moving at twice normal speed, just because I didn't want to make a 35-minute video. But there are times which I go ahead and I speed up the individual gameplay. This is one of them. I'm moving at about 1,000 times speed here because we got to go out 15 million meters. As we close in, and if you've ever used these things, used time warp for long range maneuvers, you'll notice that sometimes you gotta slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. As you get closer in, adjust your maneuver, because, and one of the nuances of the demo is that sometimes the projected trajectories, the blue line, the yellow dotted line, they disappear. So you're constantly having to make adjustments if these things disappear to try to bring them back again. So we go ahead and we close in. Bill is screaming again, which, well, let's face it, I don't blame him. The maneuver's not that far away. You go ahead, time warp one more time. Now, during this entire process, Mission Control is sending him instructions and words of encouragement as he needs it. We swing the spacecraft around, put on the maneuver vector, line that up, lock it in. 22 seconds from the burn. The burn is very short. And I like to clean up my maneuver nodes, get rid of them as soon as possible. Just so they don't clutter things and confuse me. And I have all these non-existent trajectories going on. I just look at the realistic trajectory. So we use time warp once again. And if you look in the upper left corner, one of the another nuance of the demo is that sometimes things will stay where they be. Look at the mission clock. The numbers for the mission clock have completely pushed out of, and you can see my space debris dancing around planet Kerbin like a merry-go-round of death. Well, where's the merry-go-round of junk? I'm not really sure. That might be a little dramatic. But anyway, as I was saying, in the upper left corner, you'll notice that the mission clock has pushed into the time warp section. It just slowly rises. But that's just, again, one of the nuances of the demo. It's still pretty easy to see what the mission time is. I go in and do one last maneuver node on our way in. It is going to use up the very last of the fuel. And the only reason for doing this is because at this time, I really didn't know if re-entry heat was an issue with the demo and the full version. Even though I've been watching lots of other people's videos, I wasn't really certain. I'd heard about deadly re-entry, and I was concerned that deadly re-entry would be an issue. But as it turns out, and maybe this is my fault for, I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying enough attention, deadly re-entry is actually a mod. It doesn't exist in the demo. It doesn't even exist in the full version, although in the full version you get fiery flames and all those exotic fireworks and stuff. And I have the full version, I'm playing the full version, so I've been encountering all these the fireworks as things crash and burn. Not that I'm saying I'm crashing and burning things, I'm just saying, well, whatever. That things don't really explode due to re-entry the way I thought they would. And let's leave it at that. Anyway, Bill goes ahead, conducts his last maneuver, which is going to put him very, very close, right down to the surface. And he has no fuel left. He's only using the maneuver nodes to tell him what's going on. How much time he has until re-entry and items of that such. Let me go ahead and time warp it up a little bit. Again, you see my merry-go-round of space junk. I'm just a lousy steward of space, but and this is one of the reasons why the Astronaut Corps has conducted a vote of no confidence against me. Not just that I collect a lot of space junk, but we've now had 5 attempts to the moon, and none of them have ended in success. Which I never thought it was possible to get fired from a job that doesn't pay anything. But, yeah. So, relations are rather tense between me and the Astronaut Corps. But nonetheless, I am committed to bringing Bill down safely. We adjust his orbit, even while taking note of the polar ice cap as we fly above it. I've been contemplating setting down a rover in the full version. Setting down a rover on the polar ice cap just to check it out, see what's going on there, but I haven't got around to that yet. Right now, and if you're asking why am I using the demo when I also have the full version, the answer is that, the demo in Kerbal Space Program is something I regard as kind of special amongst video game demos. Most video game demos, you're shooting stuff up, you're killing people, you're blowing stuff up, you're collecting trinkets. It's the same nonsense over and over again. Duke Nukem, Crystal Caves. I can, going back that far, 20 years? Moving forward into today's world, you're still shooting stuff up, killing people, blowing things up. But Kerbal Space Program is special. It gives you a chance to do something grand in a demo. We humans, we've always wanted to go to the moon. We did go to the moon, of course. But the idea that you could do something so grand, so unique, so culture building as opposed to destroying things, as go to the moon, do that kind of mission. Hey, you can do something like that in a demo is appealing. It's very appealing. Granted, they cut down your parts. It's like 25 parts for the 1 meter build. Or 1 meter rockets, pardon me. You're handicapped, kind of, because you don't really know what altitude you're landing at when you land at the moon, what the elevation of the land is. Most of my crashes have been at 1,200 or 1,400 meters above sea level. And so you have handicaps, but nonetheless, despite all that stuff, you get to do this really cool, really grand thing of landing on the moon, of launching this moon mission in a demo. And it's something constructive in a demo as opposed to something destructive. And this is why I've kind of set this personal goal of just trying to set down the moon and come back safely, normally, in the demo. And granted, one thing I am trying to avoid is building a spacecraft that looks like a bunch of trash cans strapped together with rope. I kind of don't want to do that. I've seen a lot of other people do missions to the moon in the demo, and it always looks like something Gilligan would put together to get off the island, as opposed to an actual moon rocket. So I am kind of picky, if you will. And I try to make my rockets look like rockets. And in that instance, I've handicapped myself because I've ended up building very narrow rockets, very narrow landers, and I know they're not going to land as well as a wide lander. And that's why I'm having so many problems. That and the fact that I just don't have landing down and pat. I'm just a lousy space pilot in the last few minutes. That low landing process. But regardless, we're going to get it together. We're bringing Bill down now. Next step is to rescue Jebediah, which I have an idea. Mission control, our engineers have been working on a plan. We're going to radio the instructions up to Jebediah and help him come back. And we actually have a plan A, a B, and a C. So we're going to get Jebediah back. But for now, 25 meters, rush into the surface, splash down, goes rather well. And now all Bill has to do is wait for the Kerbal Navy to come out, or Kerbal Coast Guard, come out and pick him up. Please light up that like button. And in our next episode, we're going to bring Jebediah home.